Hi, this is Brandon from Watches On You. We're back again at JB Hudson Jewelers in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and we're going to be looking at a very, very special watch. This is the Omega Speedmaster Skywalker X-33, and it's basically a modern interpretation of the original Omega Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch for a more modern astronaut. So it's an extremely high-tech watch with a ton of features. So let's get down to the inspection pad and we can take a look at all those features. Alright, so let's take a closer look at the Omega Speedmaster Skywalker X-33. So starting off with the overall case construction. Now I must say, for a digital watch, actually for any watch at that, for that matter, the finishing is absolutely superb on this. Usually digital watches, obviously much cheaper than this, tend to just be thrown together in a factory, but this definitely is not. They really took their time into making this absolutely beautiful as well as functional. And you can see that through the different features that they decided to put into the case. So starting off with the bracelet, it's extremely comfortable because it's actually the exact same like design-wise as the Omega Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch, except it's obviously made out of titanium, so it's extremely light, which makes it very functional because it costs a lot to put extra weight into space or into orbit. So yeah, weight saving was definitely a focus of the designers of this watch. So actually, going on to the bezel here, and it's kind of interesting because this obviously isn't a dive watch, it's made for space. It has a rotating bezel, a bidirectional rotating bezel, and it is ceramic, which kind of just adds to the finishing detail that they decided to put into this watch. So let's actually just move on to the features because that'll play into how actually the buttons are designed on the watch and everything. So starting off with, I'm not going to actually go through all the features because it would take at least 20 minutes. But starting off with kind of the main feature, which I would say is the chronograph, you use the crown here to cycle through the different features. So it's actually covered up by the minute and hour hand, but there's a little title. It says CHR for chronograph, and there's obviously different time zones, so it is a GMT. And yeah, so here's the chronograph. You can kind of see that right through there. It says CHR. But so to start the chronograph, it's basically the same as every other type of chronograph. You just need to push this top pusher here, and it gives a little chirp because it does have a speaker inside of it. It's a digital watch, so it does that. It's got a very accurate chronograph because it's quartz, obviously, and it is actually Omega's. It is a in-house quartz movement, so Omega did design the movement. So here you can see I stopped the chronograph. It says STP for stopped, and to reset you just hit that and it goes back to 0. So I'll just do that again, demonstrate it one more time. So yeah, there we go. Stopped at 42 tenths of a second, and there we go. So actually 4.2 tenths of a second, I apologize. So moving on to some of the other features. So to access those, now there's actually like 2 menus for features. You can push and hold the crown, and you can cycle through. There's an alarm function and all this different stuff. And then to cycle through the features, again, within each menu. So I'll hold that one more time. I don't think it went. Oh, it takes a little while. There we go. Okay, so now to access these, this is the alarm function, and there's a whole nother set of features. And again, the alarm will go off, it'll chirp and all that. So moving on to my kind of favorite feature of this watch, and that is the power saving feature. So in order to access that, what you do is you pull out the crown like you're going to set a normal watch, and the hands kind of fly around and they eventually reset to 0. Now the watch will actually keep track of the time when you're in this mode, so you don't have to worry about losing your time. It's like on an iPhone when you put it in the lock screen, so everything's still kind of running except the phone just isn't really on. So that's basically what's going on here. Now to put it back into active mode, you just have to push it in, and then the hands will fly to the correct time, and it just works beautifully. So that's a really, really cool feature, and I can see why astronauts need it, because if they have limited power, they obviously have a limited amount of batteries in space for watches. They probably only just bring one. I mean, this battery lasts a long time, so that won't be an issue. But yeah, that is kind of a useful feature. It's quite interesting. Another feature is this watch actually is a perpetual calendar, which is kind of unique for a digital watch. You wouldn't really expect that, but that just kind of plays into the whole horological significance of Omega and the thought that they put into it. Now, actually, no, I need to move on to a wrist shot. So I'll move on to a wrist shot here, and you can see what it looks like on the wrist. And as you can see, it's not that big on the wrist. It's just, it's a 45mm watch, but it doesn't really feel like it. It kind of feels the same as an Omega Speedmaster, to be honest, the professional moon watch that is. And I think Omega did that sort of on purpose. It's not meant to be huge. I mean, astronauts have a limited amount of space on the outside of their suits and all that. So yeah, it's definitely a very comfortable watch, just again, because it's got the same bracelet as the Speedmaster, so it'll feel definitely familiar if you already have the Speedmaster. Yeah, so all in all, this is a great timepiece, and if you like our videos, please remember to subscribe and share. Thank you.